Good morning, welcome to day 41 of my Munros challenge. Today I'm walking Route 41, Fionne, Bheinn. So it's a miserable day. I have to say I really struggled to get motivated this morning. Rain was pounding on the caravan roof. I struggled to get up and get going. Very straightforward so far. It's signed from the car park. Clearly they don't want you to get lost. Walk us this way. Nice little footpath sign at the gate. So it's been well signed so far. Path is well walked. Taking us straight up the side of this burn. I think it's going to be quite steep for a while. It's quite a steep little path following this burn. A bit scrambly. Well walked, very well walked. So far it's difficult to get lost. So as it plateaus and levels off a bit, the path forks. There's a left one following the burn and a right one skirting across the plateau. So I've taken this right hand path across the boggy plateau. At the minute it's not that bad, but we have had a long dry spell. So I picked up the path I was expecting to be on earlier. Just following the ridge line now over there up to the top. I'm approaching the 900 metre contour line, so I've only got about 33 metres of ascent left to go. We are at the top, we haven't been. So I've managed to find this faint path again coming back down. So it's quite a good path. It'll take me back to the car park. It'll be a short morning. So there you go, the cloud's just lifted, or I've just dropped out of it, one or the other. And that's Anashinch down there where the car's parked near the train station. So not so far to go. I have to say I've not hung around today, the weather's not been very good, but I'm hankering on having a sandwich in the car and maybe going and doing another Munros this afternoon. So watch this space, we'll see. So here we go. I've decided to do route number 49 this afternoon. So I'm still on day 41. I've parked up at the lay-by on the A890. And we're going to walk up Moruisg this afternoon, which is up there in the clouds. It's another short section because the Munros that follows this one has been relegated some time ago, so now this one stands on its own, which gives me the opportunity to get up and down this one this afternoon. It stands for, or translates to, the big water. So the track runs under the railway line. I just bumped into somebody who was just bagged this one, and he tells me it's pretty much straight up to the top on a good track and straight back down again. Very efficient, he says. It's another one of those where it's a bit squelchy, the path. And I would imagine in wetter weather it could be very, very boggy, but I seem to be getting away with it at the minute. The path rises after we get to that gate, deer gate over there, and then it looks to rise extremely steeply. So you can see a gully pretty much straight ahead. There's a large gully going diagonally, and there's one straight ahead with a series of waterfalls in it. Well, the footpath skirts the left hand side of that. Goes at the left of that, you can see it zigzagging right the way up to the brow of that. Looks extremely steep. So you can see the waterfalls that I pointed out earlier. The path's hugging the side of this burn. Shortly it's going to veer off left and up the even steeper section, if this isn't steep enough. So the path extremely steep, zigzagging. You can see how steep it is. So we're towards the top of the ridge. So the huge cairn here, but that's not the top. The top's over here in the mist over here. So way to go yet. So here we are, Moruisg. Very tough climb, and we've got to go back down it all. It's raining, there's no visibility. Oh dear, here we go. So I'm back here at the marker, which indicates I start my descent off this plateau. I have to say that marker's quite substantial compared to the summit cairn. Summit cairn was a bit disappointed in comparison. This could be quite tricky descending off of here if you're not careful. Luckily I took a bearing when I got to that cairn, the bigger cairn at the top, just so I could pick this first little cairn up here. So once I've picked this one up, I know I've got a series of cairns. You can see another one in the mist, just to get me off the top, because this top section's pathless. So nearly back at the car, just one final look back at the hill. That's brutal in places. So we went up that ridge there into the clouds. Although it hadn't been too long, it was similar time to the other one, just an awful lot steeper, and less mileage of course, and we'll go through that on the analysis. Hi, welcome to day 41 of my Munros challenge. Today I walked route number 41 and 49. It's Thursday the 9th of September. So let's start with the Fionne Bheinn, the first Munros. Great paths, well signed at the beginning, and pretty, if you kept to the correct path, it was pretty straightforward all the way till about 500 metres, I'd say, from the ridge, the summit ridge, at which point it becomes pathless. You know, and you're still climbing, and it's very sameish, so you needed to be careful on the way back to make sure you found the correct path coming back down. Very, very, very steady gradient. It was pretty much the same gradient most of the way. It was very, very nice gradient climb. It made progress very easy, I'd say, up and down. You just need a bit of care leaving the summit ridge when on the descent. I can't really comment on any of the views because there wasn't any. It could be boggy. It was very, very squelchy. My boots were wet by the time I'd finished this walk, and it's particularly dry at the minute, so I could imagine it could be very, very boggy walk. So Moruisg, the second one. This is totally different mountain, totally different. This was a steep hill, and it just seemed to get steeper all the way up to effectively the false summit, if you like, or the marker cairn. It was relentless. You think it's steep earlier on, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, or steeper and steeper and steeper. It is a plateau top, so once you get to that summit, you do need to be aware in bad weather that the real top is further on to the right. And I have to say, when you get there, you're a little bit disappointed in the cairn because it's such a tiny cairn compared to the huge cairn, which was the waymarker on the full summit. So again, it's pretty similar in terms of you're following a great path up until the last 300 meters, say, of ascent, and then it becomes pathless. But there are a couple of cairns, but you've got to find that you can't see the cairns in bad weather between the cairns, so you need to be you need to have your wits about you to make sure you leave the top in the correct direction. Take a bearing when you get there, assuming the weather's bad. It's definitely a walk of two halves. Both hills are totally different. Fionne Bheinn, 6.5 miles up Fionne Bheinn, and it took me 3 hours, just a tad over, and there's 2,500 feet. So Moruisg is 4 3/4 miles, so considerably less. I did it in exactly the same time, but the ascent is slightly more, 2,560. So there's more ascent in a much shorter distance, which tells you how steep it was. So all in all, the two walks together were 11.25 miles, 6 hours, just a bit over, and there's 5,060 feet of ascent, which is quite a lot of ascent actually for such a shortish day. Well worth putting them both together. They're very close together geography wise, and it's only like a 15-minute drive apart, so it was a good call for me to put them together, I would say.